Life is already full of challenges for the average person, but for those who are transgender, the obstacles are often heavier, the stairs sharper, and the misunderstandings deeper. From isolation to prejudice, from identity struggles to public judgment, their journeys take courage most of us can hardly imagine. Yet out of those struggles rise individuals who not only survive but thrive, breaking barriers, changing perceptions, and inspiring millions. Today, we're shining a light on transgender celebrities who have walked through the fire and come out stronger, louder, and prouder. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because there's one rumor linking a Boy Meets World character to rapper Chanel West Coast that you won't believe. Laverne Cox. When you think of trailblazers in the transgender community, one of the first names that comes to mind is Laverne Cox. Rising to fame through her unforgettable role in Orange is the New Black, Laverne didn't just become an actress, she became a movement. Growing up in Alabama, life was anything but easy. She was teased relentlessly for being too feminine, often feeling like she had to apologize simply for existing. At one point, the shame was so unbearable that she attempted to take her own life in 6th grade. But she survived. She fought. And she found strength in the very parts of herself the world told her to hide. Her passion for dance eventually cracked open the door to freedom. While her mother hesitated to let her explore ballet, believing it was too girly, Laverne pressed forward with tap and jazz. That determination, paired with her unshakable belief in who she truly was, carried her toward the woman she was always meant to become. Today, Laverne isn't just living her dream as an actress. She's using her platform to push for trans rights and to remind young people everywhere that, as she once said, transgender is beautiful. Jennings. Some people come to terms with their identity later in life. Jennings, however, knew almost as soon as she could talk. She told her parents plainly, "I'm a girl," even as a toddler slipping into her sister's clothes and high heels. The world first met Chaz at just 6 years old during an interview with Barbara Walters. Since then, we've watched her grow up on television, courageously showing what it means to be a transgender child in real time. Her family's support became her anchor. Instead of dismissing her, they embraced her. And that acceptance gave Chaz the strength to face a world that often misunderstands kids like her. Today, she runs a popular YouTube channel, stars in her own TLC series, and has even been named one of Time magazine's most influential teens. What makes Chaz extraordinary isn't just her fame, but her outlook. When asked about critics, she once said, "The only opinion that really affects me is my own." That kind of self-love is what makes her story so powerful. Chaz Bono. When Sonny and Cher welcomed their child Chastity into the world, they had no idea that decades later, Chastity would courageously transition into Chaz Bono. His road was long and filled with pain, so much so that he can barely look back at old photos of himself before transitioning. 40, Chaz finally made the decision to have top surgery and begin testosterone treatments. That decision not only changed his body, it transformed his spirit. Chaz became the first transgender man to play a male role in a major feature film, and he's worked on shows like The Secret Life of the American Teenager and American Horror Story. For Cher, it wasn't easy at first. She admitted to struggling with pronouns and the reality of such a dramatic change. But in time, her love for her son grew only stronger. Today, she is one of his proudest supporters. Thought balloon engagement question. These stories prove that living authentically often comes with sacrifice, but also incredible strength. If you were in their shoes, would you have the courage to live your truth in front of the entire world? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. Carmen Carrera. Carmen Carrera first captured attention on RuPaul's Drag Race. But after the show, she began her transition, and suddenly the world that once cheered for her seemed confused. People knew her as a drag performer, not as a transgender woman, and acceptance wasn't immediate. But Carmen refused to be silenced. She became a model, walking international runways, and also sparked controversy when she criticized RuPaul's Drag Race for using offensive language. Though she faced backlash, Carmen stood firm, asking only for respect and sensitivity toward the trans community. That kind of bravery reminds us that progress isn't made by staying quiet, it's made by speaking up, even when it's unpopular. Andrea Pejic. Before transitioning, Andrea Pejic was already famous in the fashion world for her androgynous look. She modeled women's clothing while still identifying publicly as male, confusing the industry but dazzling designers. In 2014, she underwent gender confirmation surgery, finally aligning her body with the woman she had always been inside. Her journey wasn't simple. Psychiatric evaluations, medical clearances, and skepticism from the fashion world all stood in her way. But when she emerged, she made history, becoming the first transgender model to appear on the cover of GQ Portugal. Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox took her fight, literally, into the MMA cage. As the first openly transgender fighter in the sport, she faced brutal backlash. Some accused her of having an unfair advantage. Others stripped her of recognition, dismissing her as less than a real woman. But Fallon kept swinging. She had endured hormone therapy for years, and she knew she belonged. Even when fellow fighters turned their backs, she refused to bow to transphobia. Her message was clear: she wasn't here just to fight opponents. She was here to fight for respect. Gina Rosero. When model Gina Rosero took the TED stage in 2014, the world only knew her as another stunning face in fashion. But that day she revealed her truth: she was transgender. It was a risk, one that could have cost her career. Instead, it set her free. Having transitioned at just 19, Gina had kept her story private, fearing the industry would reject her. But by speaking openly, she transformed fear into power. Today, she identifies proudly as a trans model, representing her community with grace and determination. Erica Irvin. At 6'8", Erica Irvin, known as Amazon Eve, is the tallest female model in the world. But her journey to becoming Erica was filled with rejection, not from strangers but from her own family, who cut ties after her transition in 2004. Despite the pain, Erica thrived. She landed roles in American Horror Story, Freak Show, and modeled internationally. Once feeling like a monster because of her height, Erica now embraces every inch of who she is. Caitlyn Jenner. Perhaps the most publicized transition in history, Caitlyn Jenner's journey unfolded before millions of eyes. Once celebrated as Olympic champion Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn carried her secret for decades, even during marriages that crumbled under the weight of her inner conflict. In 2015, at the age of 65, she introduced herself to the world as Caitlyn. For many, it was shocking. For her, it was liberation. Her story is a reminder that it's never too late to live authentically, no matter the cost. Chanel West Coast and the Minkus rumor. And finally, the strangest twist of them all. For years, a rumor has circled online that Lee Norris, the actor who played Stuart Minkus on Boy Meets World, transitioned into rapper Chanel West Coast. The truth? It's just a rumor born from the fact that they look a little alike. Lee Norris is still acting, with credits in The Walking Dead and Gone Girl. Chanel West Coast has built her own career as a rapper and TV personality. But here's the lesson. Joking about transition may seem funny to some, but for those who live it, it's deeply serious. Transitioning is not a punchline, it's survival. These 10 stories remind us that authenticity isn't easy. It's brave, it's costly, and it's beautiful. From Hollywood to sports arenas, from runways to rap studios, these individuals are proving that living as your true self is worth everything.